Hey everybody, happy Monday and welcome back to Writer's Workshop. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about how to unfreeze our characters. And what that means is today I really want you guys to work on your stories, thinking really specifically about how to have your characters move and talk. Okay. So the very first thing that I want you guys to try to do today is think about what your body was doing. And I have an example from a story that I've been working on. And when I first started out with this story, the only thing that I had down from my beginning was that I went for a walk down my street on Saturday. When I thought a little bit more about what my body was doing, I was able to go back in and add that I was walking fast. I could feel my heart beating. And that was just by kind of thinking for a minute, like, hey, what was I doing while I was walking? My arms were swinging at my sides. I was moving really fast. It was a beautiful day. All I had to do was think, what was my body doing in that? And add some more details. So in the middle of my story, because obviously I want to keep thinking about this, not just for the beginning, but what was my body doing in the middle and the end of this story. So for my middle, I wrote down that all of a sudden I saw an amazing butterfly. Now, that's all I had at first. But when I was thinking about not only what I was doing, but also what was that butterfly doing? I remembered that it was sitting on a flower and that its wings were fluttering slowly on the flower, really catching the light and changing colors. It's pretty beautiful. All right, guys, now we've talked a little bit about what we do to make our characters come to life by unfreezing them, right? Talking about what their bodies are actually doing. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about how to include what people were actually saying around us. And when we have people in our stories talk, we put their words into quotation marks. Here's an example. I was riding my bike one day. I was going so fast that my hair was blowing around. All of a sudden, my mom shouted, "Ready? Look out!" And do you notice how I put those quotation marks right at the very beginning of what she said and right at the very end? So quotation marks are going to kind of enclose whatever the people were saying. Here's how I did it in my story about the butterfly. At first, I said when I was walking by that it followed me. You guys, it was like so magical. But then I thought, well, I wasn't really talking at all because I was on this walk by myself. But my neighbor is the one who actually noticed that this butterfly was following me. And he actually shouted out, "Hey, a butterfly is following you." And so I included that when I went back in to revise and put it in quotation marks. Pretty great. So easy to add details onto your story when you think about what your body was doing, what you were saying, and what the people around you were saying. Let's take a minute to look and see how Gaia Cornwall does it, right? She's the author of Jabari Jumps. So she makes her characters move for sure. Take a look at this example. Jabari stood at the bottom of the ladder. He looked up. Look, she included that nice detail about what his body was doing. Then she added even more details about what his body was doing. He looked up. He began to climb up and up and up and up until he got to the top. Jabari stood straight. He walked all the way to the end of the board. I mean, look at all the details about what Jabari is doing that she's including. Now let's take a look how she does it by including what the character's saying. Look at those quotation marks right there. Amazing, right? So Jabari is talking in this story. He says, "I'm a great jumper," said Jabari, "so I'm not scared at all." How awesome is that? And I feel like that little moment really helped that story come to life for me. Look, even more examples. She's packing this with something called dialogue, which is what we call when we make people talk in our stories. So today, guys, it's going to be your job to try to make the people in your stories move and talk. All right? It is your turn to try. I know you can do it. You're going to go ahead and write for 15 minutes, then take a quick little break and go back in. If you're done writing, you can work on your illustrations then, or of course you can always add more movement and more dialogue, what people are saying to your stories. All right, have fun, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.